G'day, Justin Hall from Right Source here, talking not-for-profit governance out in the great outdoors. So very much enjoying nature. A topic that comes up a bit at the moment at the board level, and it's this discussion about sustainability and sustainability of the organisation, to be specific. Now, initially, why this is good is like, well, obviously you want to make sure the organisation is sustainable, but what I've seen over time is this conversation about sustainability often moves to a discussion of the financial aspects of the organisation. So it's how much revenue are we getting in and how much are we spending? And again, important topic, but we seem to talk about this so much that we don't have the equal or balanced conversation around the purpose of the organisation. What are we doing? What's our impact? How are we helping community? It's becoming a bit unbalanced, is what I would say. So we talk about sustainability and we're getting very good at talking about that. We're not so good about talking about why we're here, why we started this thing in the first place. That's what I want to talk to today about. How can we fix that? I suppose before we understand how we could fix it, potentially understand, well, how I think we got here. Now, when I reflect back, say 5-6 years ago, sustainability wasn't really spoken about that much or in that way. Yes, you looked at financials and you sort of made sure you had enough cash, but there wasn't the word sustainability wasn't used very much. So it wasn't in that type of context. Now, what's happened? Well, in that intervening period, we had a pandemic. And when COVID first hit, every organization once lockdown started to happen, they went to, well, how are we going to survive? It wasn't even about sustainability. It's, are we going to be here next week? It brought everyone's attention back from, a long-term planning right back to survival. So we went into a survival mode, and that lasted, I would say it lasted 2 or 3 months. During that time, it was a very intense time. Everything was changing. There was a lot of flux, and organizations were drawn right back down to the financial implications of what was going on, because that was it. It's like, tomorrow we may not be here. Now, as we continued on the pandemic and it continued to just keep going, that survival discussion started to look, well, we're going to be here for the next couple of weeks. Actually, we feel comfortable the next month. It started to push out past a year. And at that point, once we were comfortable we were going to be here for more than a year, that's when it started to change into, well, we need to make sure we're sustainable during the pandemic. And then as we saw the end of the pandemic, that conversation then evolved to, well, we need to ensure that as we move out of the pandemic, we now are sustainable in this new way of doing business as things have changed. And that sustainability conversation sort of just stayed there. And so it became habit to a board in terms of we talk about sustainability at every board meeting now because we have for the last 3 years. And I think that's how we got here. Now, that sustainability conversation, as I said earlier, can tend to wear on the purpose and that, the passion that people have in terms of working in not-for-profit. They're here because they want to make an impact. They want to change society. They want to fix a problem. That's why we're here. Yes, sustainability is important, but honestly, that's not why we're here. How do we bring in then that aspect of, wanting to change problems that in the not-for-profit space that the government aren't able to fix or the for-profit space find too hard? This is what the not-for-profit are doing. We're trying to fix those problems that no one else can grab and get a handle of. So inherently it's a bit more risky. So I think we need to bring back that risk element to it. And also that discussion around impact. Like, we're really trying to solve these problems, so that's going to create an impact. Now, where I like to go to is that in a not-for-profit and before the pandemic, and even now, every day, like when you're in a not-for-profit, it could all go pear-shaped very quickly. It could all end. And it could also end from a good point of view as well. From a not-for-profit point of view, you will not always be here. In fact, at some point it will end. Now, potentially that's because you've achieved your purpose. And you find the cure, there's no more homelessness, whatever it is, like you've got to the end. That's a good thing. So there should be that contemplation that there will be an end. Now, obviously the end can be from a poor point of view in terms of financially you run out of money or you're unable to continue for a resources point of view or legislation or something happens. And then there's an in-between ending where, it might be not that you've solved your purpose, but the purpose changes or it evolves to something else. And what you're initially doing isn't exactly what you're doing anymore. Now you're doing something new. Well, that is a change, an end to one and a big new beginning. So there is these things that happen along the journey. Now, what I contemplate then is, well, at that point where things end, there's no longer a need for sustainability because it's the end. You don't need to be sustainable, but what would you like to see? And I think this is when we talk about impact. Really what you want to see from a not-for-profit point of view and your purpose is you want to see the work that you've done as being enduring, that it continues past your end. So just because your organization isn't here anymore doing the things it was doing, you want to see that work that you've done continues on and continues on without a financial implication. So the word I'm liking to use more now is we really want to have a conversation at a board level about how do we make this organization enduring. So we want the work that we do now today to endure. Now, there's definitely that endurability that has a financial aspect too, because yes, if you're around, your work will endure, and that definitely helps. But how do you also have a conversation around doing work that creates that impact that continues on well past after you've gone, that the ripples are felt through society long after you're gone? Having a conversation around at a boardroom level on the enduring aspects or making your not-for-profit enduring rather than sustainable can really change the tone of the conversation and bring back that purpose into the conversation while still having the importance of the financial side front and center and discussed at a boardroom level. So that's something, contemplate, have a think about. It's a different perspective. Happy to have some comments down below and have a conversation about it. But otherwise, that's really what I want to talk about in this video. If you've got any questions, as I said, chuck them in the comments below, or feel free to connect on LinkedIn. Check out our other videos on YouTube. We've got lots of not-for-profit governance related videos that can help provide an insight or a thought that you might find useful in your not-for-profit. But otherwise, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. It's been Justin Hogg from RightSource.